Let's move on to leveraged positions. In many markets, traders can buy securities by borrowing some of the purchase price. The amount of purchase that is financed by borrowing is called the margin loan. Such an arrangement is called a margin purchase, where the amount that is borrowed is financed by the broker. The amount which is financed by the trader himself can be termed as his equity position. This amount must meet the initial margin requirement, which can be set by the government, exchange, clearinghouse, or broker. The leverage ratio of a margin investment is the value of the asset divided by the value of the equity position. For example, if the value of the asset is $100,000 and the equity position is $40,000, the leverage ratio is 2.5 times. This means that a 10% increase in the value of the asset results in a 25% increase in the investor's equity amount. The reverse is also true. So, as you can observe, the use of leverage magnifies both the gains and losses. This additional risk is referred to as risk from financial leverage. To protect themselves from a sharp drop in asset value, brokers usually enforce a maintenance margin requirement on the trader. This is the minimum equity percentage that the trader must maintain in the account. This is typically 25% of the current position value, but brokers may require a greater minimum equity percentage for volatile stocks. If the percentage of equity in a margin account falls below the maintenance margin requirement, the investor will receive a margin call, a request to bring the equity percentage in the account back up to the maintenance margin percentage. An investor can satisfy this request by depositing additional funds or depositing other unmargined securities that will bring the equity percentage up to the minimum requirement. If the investor does not meet the margin call, the broker must sell the position. So, how do we determine the price of the security to trigger a margin call? Remember this formula, where P0 is the initial purchase price. Back to our example. The initial purchase price was $100,000 and the initial margin was 40%. If the maintenance margin is set at 25%, the margin call price should be $80,000. A margin call will be triggered if the price of the security falls below $80,000. Now, let's do a calculation. Assuming that exactly 1 year after the margin trade initiation, the price of the security falls to $72,000 and the trader is forced to sell the security as he cannot meet the margin call, what is the percentage loss incurred by the trader on his initial investment of $40,000? Before we proceed, we have to realize that there are other forms of cash outflows besides the loss from the drop in price. Firstly, the trader must pay the broker interest on the margin loan at a rate known as the call money rate. This rate is generally higher than the government bill rate. For larger investors with better collateral, the call money rate is lower. Besides the interest on the loan, the trader typically has to pay a commission for the purchase and commission for the sale of the securities. This is paid on the entire position, not just the borrowed portion. Let's assume that the call money rate is 3% and the commission for purchase and sale of the security is 0.25%. We can now calculate the actual loss incurred by the trader. To make things more interesting, let's assume that there was $4,000 dividend received during the year. Let's first calculate the amount of money the trader paid out to initiate the position. The commission paid to purchase the security was $250. Add this to the $40,000 the trader placed as margin, and the total amount paid out was $40,250. And 1 year later, when the security was sold, $180 commission was paid for the sale. $72,000 cash was received from the sale, and we also add in the $4,000 dividend received. The interest paid for the year was $1,800, and $60,000 was used to repay the loan principal. If we sum all these up, the total amount the trader received back was $14,020. If we plug in these two figures, the holding period loss was 65.2%. Quite a hefty loss.
You're watching an excerpt from our comprehensive animation library. For more videos like these, head on down to prepnuggets.com. At Prep Nuggets, let us do the hard work for you.